So I've spent the last few days working on various mixes and stuff and obsessing about things like, do I have the two vocals balanced or am I too loud, that kind of thing. And then also just, messing around with other stuff. So I started playing with reference tracks today. I actually pulled up the reference track, the original of It's Only Natural, and was paying attention to things like the length of the kick and the length of the snare and how loud the snare was, the kick and snare and the vocal, because if you listen to the original, you'll find out that it's kick, snare, and voice, boom, tsh, boom, tsh, boom, tsh, and everything else that's behind it, which is not the way I was originally mixed. So I went through and made some changes and then played with reference tracks and played with EQ like crazy and just kept looking at different sections. And I'm really shocked by how different these are, because I'm going to start off with... this is the original, the one on top is the original master that I did yesterday, and then the one that I've done today after going through and doing the reference tracks. And I was very happy with the first one. I was ready to publish it, but listen to this difference.
You and I can shake up this mortal coil, it's bigger than us. You don't have to worry about it. Ready or not,
listen to the drums.
Here comes the drop. You feel lucky when you
Here
know where you are. You know it's gonna come true. Here in your arms I remember. It's only natural that I should want to be there.
Kick and snare, louder, room mics way out, a lot of adjustment on the low end of the bass to get it to match. Surprisingly, there was some flabbiness that was just showing up on the low end of the bass that I had to take out. And then a whole ton of brightness added to the voices. Again, listen to the voices real quick. So let me figure this out. Original.
It's only natural that you should feel the same way too. It's easy when you don't try. Going on first impressions, man in a cage has made his confession. Now you see me at my worst.
And the fun thing is when I pull it up in, I used Metric AB for a lot of the stuff where I was zooming in on different zones and areas of frequency. But I was also using Sonible's True Balance, which gives you a curve. I'm not sure which way that works when I'm pointing to the camera. But it gives you a curve that shows you the original song and yours and then frequencies that you're out on. And I would end up real bass heavy and with a big, huge dip. I had a huge dip in the middle. I had a smiley face like crazy that was way too high. And I kept playing with and playing with and playing with. And ultimately it ended up that the thing I needed to do to get the middle to come back was take down the low end and bring up the high end. And when I did that, it tilted the whole thing in the middle. But it was interesting. In order to get the balance to work, I'd been using that thing the whole time, looking at it and going, oh, I'm too low in frequency X. And so I would go and in that frequency, go turn stuff up. I actually had on the 2-bus, I had an EQ curve where I was adding this huge bump, like a 6 dB bump, to get the curves to match. And then I would turn that off and then go try and get the curves to match by figuring out where the problem was. And as I did it more and more and more, I eventually realized that the problem wasn't that. The problem was levels and the problem was masking. And these are relatively obvious things, but they're obvious only when you run head on into them. Anyway, the whole point of this is how incredibly powerful reference tracks are and how they're your friend. Because again, it went from this.
Won't be the last time I'm done.
Oops, let's try and just get one playing. This.
I want you to know I feel completely at ease.
Sounds good.
You read me like a book that's falling down between your knees, please.
That sounds
Let me
a lot
have my
like the
way
original.
with you. It's
Anyway,
only
there you go. Just some fun.
natural
Bye.
that I